world is changing fast. In fact, it may be changing too fast. Cities have grown quickly as the wildfire of industrialization has taken the modern world by storm. Mankind has come further technologically in the past few centuries than it has in the past 50,000 years, because people are driven by more than the need for survival. People are driven by the need to innovate, and while most agree that the need to innovate has grown society into something great, the rapid advancement of society is doing more harm than good.
Mass urbanization began in the late 1700s as the Industrial Revolution took hold in Europe and America, prompting people to move to the cities for factory jobs. Living standards were terrible and the cities were filthy places to live and work. But with advances like running water systems, police forces, public parks, plumbing, and other modern city developments, cities gradually became more hospitable, and living conditions rose. Having a cleaner, healthier lifestyle benefited those who lived in the cities, yet they remained unaware of the impact their new urban lifestyles were leaving behind. Urban sprawl, habitat destruction, plastic pollution, deforestation, air pollution, climate change, concrete runoff, and so many more consequences have arisen as a result of the industrial world, damaging our natural world beyond repair.
Industrialization has led to a change in the types of fuel used around the world. The addition of coal, along with oil and other fossil fuels, introduced new detrimental effects on the environment that the world had never seen before. Coal played an immense role in the beginning of the Industrial Revolution. Machines became popular too, causing the factory industry to boom. This bolstered the economy by introducing a more affordable substitute to steam. From an economic standpoint, coal is usually seen as a beneficial resource and is the main reason the world is at the industrial point it has reached today. The truth, however, is that particulate matter and other pollutants released from coal burning spread through the atmosphere, lowering air quality and creating smog, while carbon dioxide emissions slowly warm our planet in the phenomenon known as climate change. Urban air pollution is often seen as an unfortunate but inevitable byproduct of industrialization. LA has been plagued with some of the heaviest smog in all of history, dating back to the early 20th century. In 1943, the first big smog scare sent residents running from what they assumed was a Japanese gas attack. Thankfully, coal use is now drastically decreasing, making way for new sources of energy. The introduction of wind, solar, and even nuclear power is steering the world into a brighter future. Solar energy, for example, is a completely renewable, free source of energy that is sustainable and inexhaustible, unlike fossil fuels, which are bound to run out at some point or another. Solar energy also does not emit any greenhouse gases when producing electricity, making it a much cleaner source of energy than the fuel sources used today.
Our atmosphere is not the only victim of our industrial advances. Our oceans have also become the victim of our mistakes. The Deepwater Horizon incident is perhaps the most widely known oil spill in history. This spill deposited 210 million gallons of oil into the Gulf of Mexico, destroying the ecosystems where the spill took place. Plastic ocean pollution has also caused irreversible damage to our ocean's ecosystem, entangling marine life, leaching harmful chemicals into the water, and choking and poisoning animals who mistakenly believe that it is food. Plastic is completely man-made and nothing like it has a natural place in the world. Because it is completely unnatural, it does not biodegrade, and it breaks down into tiny pieces called microplastics, which last for hundreds, if not thousands of years.
Cities are being built at an alarming rate, and we as a species did not prepare for this. We simply leapt into it, eyes closed. Los Angeles is a city that embodies what is called urban sprawl, using cars as the main method of transportation. City planners constructed the city outwards rather than following a vertical model of expansion such as in New York. Because cities now take up much more space than they have in the past, much of the environment surrounding cities has been replaced with roads and housing. This is a painfully evident example of industrialization occurring too quickly, without leaders looking into the future to mitigate the costs. Mass production and dependency on automobiles has increased pollution drastically. The sprawl of the city also continues to damage even more of the natural world, whose plants and trees have the potential to help with our air pollution crisis. The most sustainable way to industrialize with a rising population is to build cities vertically to avoid the tragedies of urban sprawl.
The human race needs the environment to survive. Up until relatively recently in the history of mankind, we didn't have any reason to worry about damage to the environment because it was much more powerful than we were. But with rapid industrialization, we have come to overpower much of the natural world, and now we pay the price.
In the past 100 years, the world's population has grown from just over 1 billion to 7.5 billion. Massive urbanization has occurred in tandem with this explosive population growth, leading 55% of the world's population to live in urban areas in 2018. This number is expected to increase to 68% by 2050, adding 2.5 billion people to these urban areas.
Although our world is currently moving at an unsustainable rate, people are making changes in their lifestyles to offset the external costs of industrial progress. With the realization that the Earth has a finite sum of resources, individuals are beginning to understand the threat we pose to our own well-being. The Earth will never get back what has been taken from it. The only thing we can do now is reckon with our past mistakes and bring about a new future. A future that will no longer revolve around what will eventually end, but what will thrive. We have taken action to alleviate the problems of industrialization, with electric cars, clean alternative forms of energy, and the implementation of land and species protection acts to prevent human damage. Teddy Roosevelt was the father of these environmentally conservative policies, with his introduction of over 200 national parks to the United States. Teddy also outlawed fur clothing and took more strides towards environmental conservation than had ever been taken before.
Knowing how to change our lives to benefit the Earth is one thing. Making that change is something completely different. The sad truth regarding the impact of industrialization on society is that nothing will change. Nothing will improve if we as a human race don't step up to seize the opportunity that has been given to us. We need to change our lifestyles to not only save the world around us, but to save ourselves.
Teddy also outlawed fur clothing and took more strides towards environmental This is the last sentence, too. Okay.
I heard hand job. And then I was like, oh god.
Yay!
I'm actually confused.
Just shush for a second. Hush, child. Hush, child.
Hush, child.
You sound really monotone.
Yeah, can you like put some feeling
Can you
into
spice it
Can you,
up?
like,
Yeah, pollution.
pollution?
Urban air pollution!
Promoting people to move to cities.
It's prompting.
Fuck you. Literally.
Fuck you, Jacob!
You said urbanization.
Oh god.
You